What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jarrell, Big Baby Miller. Jarrell Miller vows and states that Anthony Joshua is on his #1 hit list. And let me counterpunch. We have Jarrell Miller, we have Andy Ruiz, and we have Anthony Joshua. Jarrell Miller's been after Anthony Joshua kind of silently for the last 4 or 5 years, 5 or 6 years now, right? And it looks like each time he gets an opportunity, the opportunity does get closer for him to become an opponent for Anthony Joshua once again. Now, I will say the same thing about Jarrell Miller as I'll say about his opponent to come, Andy Ruiz. Stop looking at Anthony Joshua. He's on a list. But I think you need to put that list away, put it in your drawer, close it, and lock it. And the reason for that is there's no guarantee he'll beat Andy Ruiz. In fact, Andy Ruiz is a guy that has a good chin. Now, I did see him kind of vulnerable when he did lose a lot of weight based on the fact that him losing that weight made him weaker. That's the narrative. But it could have just been Chris Arreola was in better shape than he thought he was going to be in, and maybe the punch that he got caught with is a punch that may be his kryptonite at this point. He hasn't went down since then, but the first time was against Anthony Joshua. However, the question is, does Jarrell Miller have those type of abilities? Neither here or there. I think Jarrell Miller needs to focus 100% on Andy Ruiz. The reason for that being is I think both of these guys, Andy and Jarrell, their mind is off their opponents, and whoever focuses on this fight will win this fight because they have time to train. August 3rd is a long time from now. So that gives them time. That gives Jarrell Miller time to cut some fat off his back. That gives Andy Ruiz to cut some more fat off his back. You know, let's face it, they're both big guys. Okay? I didn't know Jarrell Miller was that much bigger than Andy Ruiz, but that's a different video. You know what I mean? However, I do think Jarrell Miller talking about Anthony Joshua, discussing Anthony Joshua, planning for Anthony Joshua is the wrong approach. And I think the same exact thing for Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz is saying the same thing. I want the trilogy. I want the opportunity. I'm going to get him this time. You know what I mean? And I think he should be worried about Jarrell Miller because, see, one thing about Jarrell Miller Dubois, Jarrell Miller wasn't ready. Andy Ruiz, what shape will he be in? Will he be hungry? You know, that's the question. You know, I think it's a rock'em sock'em fight, but I think it's a fight that Andy could win. More so than Jarrell, because Jarrell, he does just come forward. You know what I mean? He may have a jab here and there or that's this straight right hand, but that's not going to stop Andy Ruiz. And if you don't have bombs over Baghdad, that fight's going to be a slugfest as long as it lasts because eventually somebody's going to go down. Now, if Andy can't stop Jarrell Miller and if Andy's punching power doesn't help, that's going to be a whole different story. But all I'm saying about these guys have the reality of these guys fighting each other, not Anthony Joshua. So him saying Anthony Joshua, yeah, it sounds good because we all know the build-up's going to be stupid. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. That's if he can beat Andy Ruiz. So none of this matters until he does that. And don't get me wrong, I want him to beat Andy. I think he's better for the sport than Andy if he can stay away from the pharmacy. But I think he's better in this for the sport. He's not butt old. He's not boring. He's not stale. He's not flat. He's not fake. Okay? He's exciting, entertaining. You know what I mean? Something like an Adrian Broner used to be back in the day. Something like a Tyson Fury, but something like a person that can self-promote himself so that gives slack off the promoter, so what the hell he's paying them for. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Jarrell Miller placing Anthony Joshua on his #1 hit list. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.